TG Geeks, episode 389, August 1st, 2022. Here we go again. Hello and welcome to another webcast from tggeeks.com, where Ben and Keith, the two gay geeks, talk about all aspects of Geek-dom and Nerd-ery, sci-fi, comics, film, horror, genre, you name it, we talk about it. I'm Keith Lane. We're coming to you from a wet Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, quite
more wet again.
Yes.
We've had more rain in the last month than we've had in the last 3 years.
This has been and I'm Ben Raggington coming to you from a rather monsoony. Yeah, it's been very, very rainy, especially in the evenings.
Yeah.
Here in very humid Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, humid is not the word for it.
Swampy?
Swampy, yes. And well, let's just get on with it here.
Prepare for hyperdrive.
Meanwhile, in the Hall of Episodes, the two gay geeks are discussing this.
Well, in this episode, we have a few things that we're going to talk about in the first segment. A couple of things that we have been watching and some interesting things. It's really kind of neat. Birthday shout-outs, our podcast of the week, and we've got some feedback and regular shout-outs. So we might have something in the second
if we have the time.
I've
got something listed.
And a wacky weekly recap and a regular shout-out. So let's just get on with the discussion. Well, we have watched a number of things.
There quite a number of things have dropped on various streaming platforms, and this was one that I got an email on, and because I am a subscriber to Disney Plus, I got this email, and it's all about the history of Industrial Light and Magic.
Yeah, I had gotten a couple of press releases, and the timing just wasn't right because we had other things running. But I was kind of excited about it. It was really fascinating. It's called Light and Magic.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the whole, my gosh, from 1975.
Right from its very humble beginnings.
Yeah, in Van Nuys, California.
In Van Nuys. Oh, my God. I feel so sorry for those people.
And in this warehouse, and then, they moved everybody up to California, and
well, they were in California. They moved them to the Bay Area.
That's what.
Yeah, they moved them up to.
Yeah, they went from Southern California to Northern California.
Yeah, somewhere in the North Bay.
Yeah.
I can't remember exactly where. Before they finally resettled at Skywalker Ranch.
Yeah, and it just talking about all the different people and all the people that they gathered together to make Star Wars and the iconic things that they did, the creatures that they created,
mm-hmm.
and all of the stop motion that they did, and all of the models, and oh my gosh, how they did it all.
Right.
So a lot of stuff that we'd never seen before, even on a lot of the behind the scenes stuff.
Well, they were definitely the innovators and the inventors.
Oh, yeah.
Because there was no big main special effects, visual effects house that existed. I mean, a lot of things, little things were farmed out. They had little tiny departments at studios like what they had for Star Trek when the original series ran. But for George Lucas's purposes, there was no such thing as a big visual effects house, and he wanted to assemble one. What I found interesting was it was all about the people that were involved, because now, of course, and we joke about this, but we're of that age where, we remember the original Star Wars when it came out, and how groundbreaking that was, and being the big time reader that I was of all of the nerdy magazines that talked about how amazing this movie looked. If there was a story on Star Wars, I had to read it. And especially I was fascinated with what ILM did.
Right.
And I became very, I became a very much, I had hero worship for John Dykstra.
Yeah.
I really did, because and this is partly due to the bad, reporting that was done at the time. But you kind of made, when Star Wars first came out, John Dykstra and Industrial Light and Magic were sort of synonymous.
Right.
For me.
He was the creative force.
He's the one who brought it all together.
And brought all the people together. He knew enough people that knew people, and they just brought them all together and just, he featured heavily in this documentary at the first section, and he said, once Star Wars was over and George finally decided to kind of let me go, I understand why he did. I was ready to go because,
also,
I was a little volatile and,
but we also learned other things like, Star Wars is done. Now what? It's not like now where there is such a plethora of movies requiring heavy visual effects,
right?
So that ILM is constantly rotating projects right now.
Right.
They're either working on something, finishing something up, or getting ready to start something new. It's in constant rotation. It wasn't like that back then.
Right.
I mean, Star Wars was done. Star Wars was done.
Yeah, and one of the interesting things was that they just kept showing up for work, and then about 3 weeks later, somebody said, "Well, we're going to have to do something about this," and George really didn't want to let all of them go, so they started. A lot of people did leave.
Some of them did, yeah,
but they started looking for projects for ILM to do, and then it just kind of started filling in, and it was really fascinating of how the projects that they started doing and how they got into the computer graphics, and that's really where they live right now.
Right.
And it was just all the way up to present.
Yeah.
Talking about Jurassic Park and how groundbreaking that was. For they didn't do real stop motion. They did some.
But
most of it was computer generated graphics.
Yeah, and I knew some of the history behind that. I want to jump back a little bit too, because one question that had bothered me for the longest time, and that was, why did John leave? Because I remember when it was announced who was going to be heading up ILM for Empire Strikes Back, and it was going to be Richard Edlund.
Right.
And I remember being so distressed and so unhappy because, again, I kept thinking, but this was John Dykstra's baby. He's the one who, and it wasn't until I was watching this that I finally realized, oh, John and George didn't get along very well, did they?
Well, and he wanted to leave too.
Yeah, well,
he was burned out. He really just kind of he pushed himself too hard.
He did,
and
but
burned
I
out.
remember he also
and
expressed
then he butted heads. So.
Yeah, but he also expressed a little bit of disappointment that he wasn't asked to come back for Empire.
Right.
But in the meantime, because he's kind of got his mojo going, and he wanted to work on something new, and so he decides to, hey, I got a new project that I'm thinking about. It's a little thing called Battlestar Galactica. And I remember, how great that pilot was, and then he kind of fades off. He forms Apogee, but I'm happy to see that he's been very busy.
Oh yeah.
Since then, I mean, he came back and really helped bail out Doug Trumbull for Star Trek: The Motion Picture. Dykstra and Apogee was greatly responsible for the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie and probably the 2 sequels. Right. So it's good to see how he went there, and then also to see where ILM kind of went. And you're right, how they kind of then started kind of accidentally stumbling their way into this whole thing called computer animation and computer graphics. Right.
And we even get a couple of shots of John Lasseter whenever he first started.
Oh, yeah.
And then, obviously they sold it to this, who was that guy? Apple founder?
Yeah, the Apple guy, Steve Jobs, I think is his name.
Steve Jobs, that's right. Yeah.
And thus was born
that
Pixar.
Little thing.
Thus was born Pixar.
Exactly.
Yeah. And to see how, and I felt really bad because we see how they're getting ready to really take on Jurassic Park. And Spielberg was really happy because he's got his three big guys. He's got Dennis Muren, who is really big on the visual effects. He's got Phil Tippett and Stan Winston, who are going to be like the big guys for the dinosaurs.
And then Phil Tippett and Stan Winston kind of disappeared
well,
into the computer graphics.
They did. They did kind of vanish.
They did make,
They kept them, though.
They kept them because they were instrumental. In fact, both of them were instrumental in understanding how the dinosaurs moved.
Right.
And that helped inform the computer graphics that they created. So it was, I mean, while they could have cut them loose, I don't think Jurassic Park would have been the film
it wouldn't have been as
was.
good. But it would not have been as good.
I mean, he'd been making models and stuff since he
was
a kid.
You see how he was heavily inspired by Ray Harryhausen.
Right, exactly.
And that kind of stuck with him. But, so we talk about ILM. The people that make it up are some of the most amazing individuals.
Right.
And we see and get interviews from the veterans.
Right.
We see and hear from Richard Edlund and Dennis Muren and Phil Tippett, and I don't know if we hear from Stan Winston. I don't think we do.
I think he may have had a couple of lines or something.
He might have.
Yeah.
But then you also hear from the new people that have come along.
Right.
And there's some great interviews with people that had, as teenagers, they're watching Star Wars in the theater and like, oh my God, this is what I want to be with. And then so they chart their own path.
What was his name? Ron something?
I can't remember his name.
Actually, in effect, created Adobe Photoshop for ILM.
Right.
And
he was just a fanboy.
Yeah.
And then finally he gets
wound up with a job at ILM.
Someone contacts him and says, how would you like to work for us?
Yeah. And he said on his first tour of ILM when they had hired him, Dennis Muren walked by and he was just kind of like,
he had a fanboy moment.
Yeah. His jaw dropped open.
Which is cool because you realize that ILM is made up of nerds.
Oh, a bunch of nerds.
These are all nerds. These are our people.
Party hard, play hard, but work hard.
Yeah.
I mean, several of them said they practically lived.
Yeah.
Well, this one gal, she said she packed her bags and told her husband, I've got to go for
she
like 4 days.
She was leaving England.
Well, no. She said, I've got to go work.
Oh, that's right.
There was something that they were presenting, and she packed her bags, and she said, I'm going to go live at ILM for 4 days.
Yeah.
So she had a big presentation to make. So
that's true.
Yeah.
I think that was in conjunction with Jurassic Park, too.
It may have been. I don't recall. But it's 6 episodes or 1 hour episodes.
These are amazing.
Some footage that you've never, ever seen. Back behind the scenes footage and some stuff that we have seen before, but a lot of new interviews with folks as well as some old interviews with folks.
They've managed to get George Lucas to come back in and he had a lot to say, as did Spielberg. Kathleen Kennedy was there.
Ron Howard
was there. Jon Favreau was there.
Oh my gosh, it was just.
I mean,
and you've seen Jon Favreau as a very young man.
Oh yeah,
it's like, oh my Lord.
It was a great joy to watch.
It was.
I highly recommend it.
It was a good geeky, nerdy moment.
Yeah.
If you're really into
it was a lot of fun. There were
behind the scenes stuff.
There were a lot of things that I did know, but every once in a while they came out with something.
I never knew that.
I had no idea ILM had anything to do with that.
Exactly.
It was so fascinating. I'm really glad we had a chance to watch it, and I highly recommend it to anybody.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons,
and this is one of the few things that we can talk about, and it's not
we're
really
not
spoilers.
No. and pardon me if I sound like I'm shilling for Disney Plus, but this is one of the reasons why I'm glad I got that subscription.
Exactly.
Because it's shows like that.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate Disney Plus really bringing in a lot of these documentary type shows now that you can just, if you're a real geek, this is your bread and butter.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I loved it. It was great to watch it.
Yeah. And I just have to say something before we move on to the next thing. I have this lovely new
It's an Elcar's desk pad.
Desk pad.
Yeah.
It reaches all the way across my desk, and it is so cool. My husband bought that for me.
He
has one too.
I have one too. Although mine's upside down.
Uh-oh.
I know.
Whoops.
Yeah, I realized that the other day. I was like, wait a minute,
that's upside down.
I said that either that is a completely alien font,
It's Scarl.
or I've cut mine upside down. I was like, oh man, now I gotta move
Now I
everything.
gotta move everything
I gotta move
again.
everything off my desk again and turn it right side up.
Because it stretches all the way
It
across.
does. It's really long.
Pretty
I
large.
love it. Yeah, it's really cool.
It's great.
And it wasn't expensive.
Yeah.
No,
That's cool.
I mean the two of them together cost under $50.
Wow.
And I think I got an ad on Facebook for this one, and so I took a look at it, and it's not what I thought. I thought it was going to be like a hard plastic.
Yeah.
And then the package came, and I went, "Oh, that can't be right because it's bendable."
Yeah.
And then we opened up, and oh, I guess it is. Not what I thought it was, but I like it a great deal. I'm glad you like yours too.
Yes, and I just want to talk about the Orville again.
Oh my God!
Oh my gosh! Every episode. I mean, there's one episode left for this season.
I know. I can't even begin to imagine how Seth is going to end up this season.
And I hope Disney doesn't.
Disney
make
has
a mistake
got to renew this.
and doesn't renew it.
They have got to renew
they've
this
got
series.
to.
It is so amazing. Because
the writing is just, it's getting better and better and better. It's just unbelievable.
Easily the best season of Orville that I have ever seen. And I kind of wonder if maybe when the offer was made to Seth MacFarlane and his team, let's bring it over to Hulu. Because I'm wondering, when it was on Fox, maybe Seth felt this kind of obligation to sort of play into that really kind of toilet humor that he likes to dabble in.
Yeah, maybe.
And but by moving it over to Hulu, maybe he thought, okay, now's my chance, because he is a Star Trek fan. He's a huge Star Trek fan.
Right.
Maybe he thought, this is my chance to really give a shot at telling some really strong quality science fiction, in the vein of Star Trek, yet make it its own.
And the morality plays in each
God.
episode are just incredible. It's amazing.
And what they did in this last episode, had me just stunned.
And what are they going to do now?
I know.
In the last episode,
I was so completely blown away by the changing of alliances and personal sacrifices that were made to bring about that changing of alliances. It was everything Star Trek, the original series, had ever tried and succeeded at being.
Yeah. And aspired to being.
Right.
Yeah.
I really have to tip my hat to Seth MacFarlane. I think he's done a brilliant job with this show. Disney would... It would be criminal if they did not reach out to Seth, because he has said on social media it's up to them.
Wow.
They have to make the decision to call for a renewal. I don't know. Maybe they're waiting for the entire season to drop before they make a decision.
Who knows?
I mean, who knows? I mean, Disney is its own thing. I mean, sometimes they make some really brilliant decisions. Other times they make some that I think are rather boneheaded.
Right.
And I'm hoping this one falls in the former and not the latter, because Orville deserves to get another shot, especially given the quality that this third season had been.
And Seth has written a lot of the episodes.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
And directed them too.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, Disney, if anybody at Disney is hearing this, please give the Orville another shot. It deserves it. I mean, and all you have to do, go to social media to check it out. The positive outcry and support and love that this show is getting on social media is almost deafening.
Exactly.
It is so loud. The people love it. So Disney, you better do something about it.
Yep. And a new thing, actually, I don't know that we've talked about this, For All Mankind. It's a Apple.
We have talked about
Apple
it.
TV Plus.
Yeah.
Original. And we had originally watched the first episode, and it
did not resonate for some reason.
Which is a weird thing for us, because normally we give the 3-episode test.
Yeah.
And we just couldn't make it through the first episode. I may have been right when we had a couple of other things that were going
we
on.
We may have been going through burnout.
Who knows?
It's impossible to say. But I do know that after the third episode, we were like, oh, we need to see what happens.
This, and I only made a mention of it because I think it was Bill Hensley that said something about the writing and the good science in it. And
well, that's why we came back to it.
And we came back to it, and we have mainlined the thing. We have caught up now.
Totally caught up.
Oh, my God. What an incredible series.
Yeah.
It is just, wow.
This is one of the best. This is a fabulous science fiction series.
Yeah, and then there's 2 episodes left in this season, and wow, I can't wait to see what's going to happen because we just had huge cliffhanger. So,
and at the heart of it, this is a very character-driven show.
Oh, absolutely,
very character-driven. You get to see the highs and the lows, and it shows that these people, for as good as they may be, they are flawed.
Absolutely,
heavily flawed. And you could be watching an episode and someone's about to make a bad decision and you're just sitting there screaming at your TV, don't do it!
And then they do it.
And then they do it anyway and you're shaking your head like, okay, well, the fallout's going to suck. The fallout is really going to be ugly because you just did something completely stupid.
Yep.
But that's at the heart of being human, I think.
Exactly.
And it shows that because we look back to especially the Mercury, Gemini, Apollo days, and it was so easy to take these astronauts
and romanticize them,
really put them on a pedestal and just forget the fact these are human beings. And when I'm going to say they're flawed, man, and we're talking heavily flawed. And these guys they made some really tragic mistakes because they're as human as anybody else on this planet.
Yeah.
And to see how they manage to stumble because of their humanness and then recover.
Yeah. And say, okay, well, that was a stupid mistake. How do we recover? How do we make this right?
Right. And I think this past episode 8, as of this recording, shows them coming together, all these different factions coming together and just rising to something that was really triumphant in this incredible heroic rescue of 2 of our main characters. It was very powerful to watch. I mean, there was some loss along the way, very sad loss, but there was some really good triumphant rescuing that took place at the same time.
Yeah.
And it shows that people can overcome.
Exactly.
And it was so beautifully well done. The series is amazing, and it has been announced. And I don't know if I said this in the last episode or not. Season 4 was announced at San Diego Comic-Con.
Wow.
So, and because it was just announced, no idea as to when it's going to go into production.
Right.
I mean, because this is an Apple TV Plus original. I don't know what their production schedule looks like. It's not like Paramount Plus where they're like jumping way ahead of time.
Right.
To get these shows out. So who's to say when season 4? I think we kind of maybe I need to take a look at the IMDb and see what the release dates were for the first 3 seasons.
Yeah,
that might give us an idea.
See what happens. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you have Apple TV Plus, or if you don't and you're thinking about getting it, well, For All Mankind is one of several reasons why you need to get it.
Absolutely.
Foundation is the other reason you need to get it.
Well, and Severance.
Oh, and Severance, too.
Several other things,
yeah,
too.
But yes, okay, so there's 3 shows, 3 TV series right there that say this is why you have to have Apple TV Plus.
Exactly.
Severance, Foundation, and For All Mankind.
Yep. And now, Blood and Treasure Season 2
God,
came
it's
back.
finally back.
Oh, my gosh. And it is like, it's another roller coaster.
It is. This is for your Indiana Jones type lovers, but it's such popcorn rubbish.
It is. Some of it is like,
it's so rubbish.
Oh my God, and they have zero respect for time.
Oh, absolutely. They're in like
for one moment they're in Vietnam, and then the next moment they're in
Paris
Iceland,
and
then they're in Paris, and then they're back in Vietnam, and no time has
all
passed
in the course
Vietnam.
of a day.
Exactly. How the hell does that happen?
Especially after having spent 3 days in each of these other locations.
Exactly.
Yeah, we're back in less than 24 hours. But I think we realized after the first season, this show deserves lots of hand waving. Lots of hand waving. It is not meant to be taken seriously.
No, it's about the story and
it's about the fun, the adventure.
Fun. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's not like, and I was comparing this to Dan Brown's The Lost Symbol, which I think tried to be more serious,
right?
And because it tried to be something that it wasn't or shouldn't have been, it sort of failed.
Yeah, well,
Blood and Treasure.
The fact that they had 6 episodes of story and they had 10 episodes.
Right, yeah. So there was a lot of unnecessary padding. I finally realized that the people behind Blood and Treasure have absolutely no aspirations for making a serious show. This series is meant to be, like you're sitting in a theater, it's a Saturday matinee, and you got your bag of popcorn, and you're just munching away, enjoying the fun. That's it.
Your bag of popcorn?
Your bag of popcorn, yeah. No, really, but it's all meant to be just pure popcorn fun. It doesn't aspire to be anything greater than that.
No.
And if that's what you walk into thinking it's going to be, you are going to love the show. And I'm so glad season 2 is here. And we're right now keeping an eagle eye out for Michael Chan, who we know is in season 2.
Yes.
So hopefully we'll get to see him pretty soon.
Hopefully.
Yeah,
so that's what we've kind of been watching. Let us know what you think if you're watching any of these things.
And if you're watching something that we haven't mentioned, kind of let us know. I'd like to know what you're taking a look at.
Exactly, because we always are looking for other things that we can watch.
Especially as the shows that we are watching, run out.
Disappear. Yep.
Hi, this is Pia Thrasher, filmmaker, actress, and artist, and you are listening to the Two Gay Geeks.
I keep looking at the clock.
Yes. Anyway, well, here's a few selected birthdays for August 1st through August 7th, 2022. Yves Saint Laurent, or YSL, was a French fashion designer who in 1962 founded his eponymous fashion label. He is regarded as being among the foremost fashion designers of the 20th century. In 1985, Carolyn Milbank wrote, "The most consistently celebrated and influential designer of the past 25 years. Yves Saint Laurent can be credited with both spurring the couture's rise from the 1980s." Wow, these new computer glasses.
Yeah, Keith got new glasses, so he's having a difficult time reading.
Wow, I can't read this now. What the heck happened?
Time to break out the old ones.
Yeah. Couture's rise from the 1950s or 1960s ashes and will finally rendering ready-to-wear reputable. He developed a style to accommodate the changes in fashion during the period. He approached his aesthetic from a different perspective by helping women find confidence by looking both comfortable and elegant at the same time. He's also credited with having introduced Le Smoking Tuxedo suit for women and was known for the use of non-European cultural references and of diverse models. Then we have Henry Melville was an American novelist, short story writer, and poet of the American Renaissance period. Among his best-known works are Moby Dick in 1851, Taipei 1846, a romanticized account of his experiences in Polynesia, and Billy Budd Sailor, a posthumously published novella, which actually was made into an
opera. Billy Budd?
Yeah. Yep, and although his reputation was not high at the time of his death, the 1919 centennial of his birth was the starting point of a Melville revival, and Moby Dick grew to be considered one of the great American novels. We also have friend of ours, Phil Chavez, Fred Kurtzweg, Devaney Penn, and Steve Wales.
Happy birthday.
Yeah. August the 2nd, Wes Craven was an American film director, screenwriter, producer, actor, and editor. Craven has commonly been recognized as one of the greatest masters of the horror genre due to the cultural impact and influence of his work. Amongst his prolific filmography, Craven was best known for his pioneering work in the horror genre, particularly slasher films, where he mixed horror cliches with humor and satire.
Yeah, his Nightmare on Elm Street films pretty much typify that.
Exactly. And then we have Butch Patrick. He's an American actor and musician, beginning his professional acting career at the age of 7. Patrick is perhaps best known for his role as child werewolf Eddie Munster on the CBS comedy television series The Munsters from 1964 to 1966.
He's also coming back,
yeah,
because Rob Zombie is doing a Munsters reboot movie, which looks amazing, and Butch Patrick is going to be in it.
Yeah, there. And then we have friend of ours, Eamon Saman, and Kyle Madsen.
Well, happy birthday.
August the 3rd, Martha Stewart.
Yes. Who's Martha Stewart?
She writes picture books about gracious living. Martha says there's nothing else that matters if you can do a nice dry floral arrangement. I worship her. Yes, thank you.
Patrick Stewart.
Patrick Stewart and Jeffrey. She's actually an American retail businesswoman, writer, and television personality. As founder of Martha Stewart Living Omni Media, she gained success through a variety of business ventures encompassing publishing, broadcasting, merchandising, and e-commerce. She has written numerous best-selling books as the publisher of Martha Stewart Living magazine and hosted 2 syndicated television programs, Martha Stewart Living, which ran from 1993 to 2004, and Martha, which ran from 2005 to 2012. Mm-hmm. She does lots of wonderful things. I enjoy seeing her figure things out.
Yeah, she's very creative.
And then Tony Bennett.
Oh my God.
American singer.
Legend.
Of traditional pop standards, big band, show tunes, and jazz. He's also a painter, having created works under his birth name that are on permanent public display in several institutions. He is founder of the Frank Sinatra School of the Arts in Astoria, Queens, New York. August 4th, John Venn was an English mathematician, logician, and philosopher, noted for introducing Venn diagrams, which are used in logic, set theory, probability, statistics, and computer science. In 1866, Venn published The Logic of Chance, a groundbreaking book which espoused the frequency theory of probability, arguing that probability should be determined by how often something is forecast to occur, as opposed to educated assumptions. Venn then further developed George Boole's theories in the 1880 work Symbolic Logic, where he highlighted what would become known as Venn diagrams. Daniel Day Kim, actor, Star Trek Voyager and Enterprise and Crusade. He was also in Angel and many other TVs and movies, and lots of voiceover that he does. And then we have a very good friend of ours who is no longer with us, Mr. Bob Tanser. Happy birthday in heaven. And then Brandon Morales, who is a wonderful bass baritone opera singer. My gosh. We saw him last year in an operetta, and they had everybody mic'd.
He didn't need it.
Oh my God, Brandon did not need a mic. His voice is so powerful.
It just blasted through the hall.
Yep. August 5th, Neil Armstrong, as we were talking
Speaking
about
of astronauts,
was an American astronaut, an aeronautical engineer, and the first person to walk on the moon. He was also a naval aviator, test pilot, and university professor. Joan Hickson, a staple and icon of British TV, and retired before Agatha Christie herself asked her to be Miss Marple in a new series.
The definitive
Yes.
Miss Marple.
She was 86 when she first appeared as Miss Marple. She was
It was
just
amazing.
brilliant.
She was amazing. I'm so glad that we were able to get that entire series on BritBox and just mainline through it again.
Yeah. And then we have a friend of mine and former coworker, Bev Labonte. August the 6th, Alexander Fleming was a Scottish physician and microbiologist, best known for discovering the world's first broadly effective antibiotic substance, which he named penicillin. His discovery in 1928 of what was later named benzylpenicillin, or penicillin G, from the mold Penicillium rubens, is described as the single greatest victory ever achieved over disease. For this discovery, he shared the Nobel Prize in Physiology and Medicine in 1945 with Howard Florey and Ernst Boris Chain. Then we have also on August the 6th, Piers Anthony is an American author in the science fiction and fantasy genres. Publishing under the name Piers Anthony, he is also known for his long-running novel series set in the fictional realm of Xanth. Many of his books have appeared on the New York Times bestseller list, and he claims one of his greatest achievements has been to publish a book beginning with every letter of the alphabet, from an anthology to Zombie Lover. I was first introduced to his Adept series, and I read the first three. I've devoured the first 3 books.
I remember
and
that.
then I realized there's like 27 more books. It's like, oh my God.
Lots of reading to do.
Yep. August the 7th, Wayne Knight, actor, Jurassic Park, a lot of voiceover parts.
Hello, Newman.
Yes. And he was Al of Al's Toy Barn in Toy Story 2. And interestingly enough, he was the voice of Zurg of the Buzz Lightyear TV series.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't really watch the Buzz Lightyear series, so I had no idea.
Yeah, and Seinfeld and many other things. He's worn the same glasses frames since being on Seinfeld. He never changed. It's his trademark.
It's a look.
Yep, exactly. And then we have John C. Mather, is an American astrophysicist, cosmologist, and Nobel Prize in Physics laureate for his work on the Cosmic Background Explorer Satellite, or COBE, with George Smoot. This work helped cement the Big Bang theory of the universe. According to the Nobel Prize Committee, the COBE project can also be regarded as the starting point for cosmology as a precision science. Mather is also the senior project scientist for the James Webb Telescope, as Space Telescope launched to Lagrange Point on December 25th, 2021, which we're already getting
amazing
stuff from. Oh my gosh,
pictures from the deep universe.
And then a friend of ours, Jeff Nicholas.
Oh, happy birthday, Jeff.
Yes. And that's it for the birthdays this time.
Technorama, the podcast for geeks, because geeks are better than cool. You don't hear someone say, "Get away from me, you cool person." Who's gonna have their 65-inch home theater system installed by the Cool Squad? Not me, that's for sure. How much cool cred do you have? Not enough to care about. Think you'll find any canned unicorn meat at thinkcool.com? It's just a part domain name. They don't even have roadkill in a paper cup. That's why you need to start listening to Technorama, because that's what geeks do. Go to chuckchat.com and listen to Technorama before you turn cool.
Go give a listen to our friends Chuck and Craig over at Technorama Podcast.
I'm Daniel Radcliffe, and I believe that reaching out for help is the bravest thing a person can do. If you are struggling and need support, call the Trevor Lifeline at 1-866-488-7386. It's free and confidential, and trained counselors are there to listen 24/7 without judgment. To learn more about the Trevor Project's life-saving work for lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, or questioning young people, go to thetrevorproject.org.
And it's time for our feedback. These are comments that we received in response to articles and episodes that we ran on our website at tggeeks.com, and the links for each of these items will be in the show notes for this episode number 389 at tggeeks.com, starting with regarding Ben's breakdown, 1776, the 1972 movie, all classics newly reviewed. We run this movie review every year, and every year we get a comment. This year we got a comment from Don Casper, who says, "Love that movie." Moving on, regarding Hamish Downey's playlist for July 2022, we got a comment from the Fizz Popcast radio show. They left this comment on our Instagram account saying, "I think we're overdue an Elizabeth Taylor movie on the podcast. We definitely want to talk about Tennessee Williams so that maybe we can kill two birds with one stone." Man, that's a violent saying. And we close it off regarding Hamish Downey's 5 questions with Adam J. Yeend. Adam left a comment on Twitter saying, "Thanks for having me along." And Hamish replied with, "Always happy to hear what you are up to, Adam." And that is our feedback for this week. And the only reason there's just a little bit, feedback's beginning to run a little thin, people. We're not getting much these days.
Well, we'll have to do something about that. Hear that, Arkle? You can leave a comment on our Facebook page, our Twitter, Instagram, or directly on tggeeks.com, and you'll receive a shout out on a future episode, as these folks have. If you want to, you can call our listener feedback line. You can leave us a voicemail, and we'll play that on air as well. You can leave a message at 469-TG-Geeks. That is 469-844-3357. And as always, please play nice.
For more than 2 decades, Judy and Dennis Shepard have honored their son Matt by working to erase hate around the world. The Matthew Shepard Foundation honors his legacy by inspiring the good work of activists, teachers, artists, and legislators, and everyday LGBTQ+ folks and their allies. Join us today in helping to erase hate. Visit MatthewShepard.org.
Thank you to NBC Comcast Universal. Well, as everybody knows, we are huge supporters of independent creators, whether it's filmmakers, comic book artists, writers, or others. Please check them out. Check out their Etsy pages, their Twitter, Instagram, their Facebook, wherever you might find those independent creators. Chat them up, chat other people up about their stuff, buy their stuff, and if you see them at cons, please buy their stuff there too. Please consider supporting independent creators. If you are trans or are questioning your gender identity, and if you are in crisis or are feeling isolated and need someone to talk to, or you know of someone in a similar situation, there is a special hotline just for you. The hotline is provided by translifeline.org and staffed by trained counselors who are transgender themselves. The hotline in the U.S. is 877-565-8860. In Canada, it is 877-330-6366. Or you can go to translifeline.org to learn about the important work they are doing. Please reach out for help. You are not alone.
Yeah, baby. They're like two gay geeks. They're together, you know. They're two gay guys and they're geeks. Is that okay?
Well, we've got time.
Time.
We have time to talk about...
Too much time on my hands?
No, that's a Styx song. No, we're not going there. Talk about Star Trek. Now, some of you may have heard that in the upcoming Season 2 of Strange New Worlds that it will cross over with Lower Decks.
What?
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, it certainly had my head scratching because I thought, well, you could not look for two more different Star Trek properties out there. I mean, the least of which is that one's animated and the other one's not.
Yeah.
So I kept wondering, how are you going to pull this off? And I kind of wondered, will they just go all animation? Will it be a hybrid? Well, there has been, if you go to YouTube and you look up anything regarding Star Trek / San Diego Comic-Con, you will find more than enough interviews that didn't necessarily take place in Hall H or Hall 20. You know, these were smaller interviews that were done with, different media groups. And there was an interview with the cast of Strange New Worlds. And they said, yes, this crossover is live. Apparently, the people that voice the characters that we see and love in Lower Decks will be playing their parts live. Now, some of that's going to be very interesting because some of them are going to be under a lot of heavy makeup. But I think this was kind of proven that it could be done because the Lower Decks crew did appear at a panel at a Star Trek Con in Chicago some months back, and they did it in costume.
Well, that could be interesting.
So I think that kind of maybe that's what kind of told Alex Kurtzman and Akiva Goldman saying, hey, we might be able to do something with that.
Maybe we can do something like that.
So they are going to appear. In fact, I am under the impression they actually filmed the episode already.
Oh, my.
Because I seem to remember hearing comments from Ethan Peck, who was in this interview that I saw, saying that it was hilariously funny. And Strange New Worlds has shown us that they're actually quite good at the comedy.
Yeah.
They did at least 2 very good comedic episodes this past season.
Yeah.
And they pulled it off very well, yet still remaining true to who they are. So I'm actually kind of excited to see where they're going to go with that, which of course means I may have to subject my poor honey to. I will handpick what I think are the least offensive Lower Deck episodes so that you won't go screaming out of the room.
Like I did the first time around.
Well, hey, I almost did too, because the first couple of episodes I thought they were horrible. But the show did get a lot better. So I might have to, kind of go through and say, okay, just sit with me. These aren't very long. You can tolerate 20 minutes. and just see these few, but I'll pick maybe 2 or 3 just so you can kind of familiarize yourself with who these wackadoodles are, so that you kind of have a sense of who they're supposed to be when season 2 finally comes around next year, I think. Yep. I have no idea. No idea when that season is supposed to appear. But yeah, that's the news that I've got on Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
And that's all we got in the second episode.
Second episode?
Yes,
I didn't know.
Second episode today.
Oh, so being that this is now the
this
week,
is our third episode.
This is our third episode.
Fourth episode.
Fourth episode.
I have a headache and I can't see out of my glasses.
Well, so then I'll just rush right through this. This is our weekly review. These are items that we ran on our website at tggeeks.com this past week, and the links for each of these items will be in the show notes portion of this episode article that you can find at tggeeks.com, which will be shared among the 3 major social media platforms, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. So you can find us all there. Instagram, yes. Did I say something else?
Instagram.
No, I didn't. No, I didn't. I'm not that crazy. Starting with Sunday, July 24th, Nerdy Chupacabras number 110. On Monday the 25th, TG Geeks episode number 388. On Tuesday the 26th, Ben's Gay book breakdown. Morgan Bryce strikes paranormal gold again. That's the name of the book, again. On Wednesday the 27th, new clip from Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation. Oh, that looks good. That's coming to Disney+. On Thursday the 28th, Andrea's Angle, Vengeance, Profound and Surprising. I really want to see that movie. It looks so good. On Friday the 29th, Hamish Downey's News, Sushi number 126, Morsels of News from Japan and Beyond.
Which really should have been 128, but I screwed up on the...
Oh well. And then on Saturday the 30th, Pennywise, the story of IT floats on Screambox. And that's what we ran on our website this past week.
And that's lots of stuff.
Have some shout-outs that we need to make. First to our good friend Arkle, Brian Weber. He is on Twitter as Brian the Ampersand List YouTuber, and he republishes some of our content from time to time, which is why we give him a shout-out. Plus, he's a really great guy, and he is always giving us feedback, so we like to give him some honors here. And if you want to find him on Twitter, it's the best thing to do is to look for @GeekOfAllTrades, and geek is spelled the letter G, the number 3, the number 3, the letter K of all trades, Geek of All Trades. And while you're looking for all things Arkle, go to his YouTube channel. That will be youtube.com/Arkle Studios. He has a number of things going there, and right now he's got Season 7, Episode 10, Secret Kingdom 1998. Is that correct?
Well, that was
that last week?
Last week. He released one of his tier ranks this week for some reason.
Okay, so yeah, go to his YouTube channel. He's got lots of things going on there, and it's really worth checking out. We must also give some shout-outs to a couple of Facebook groups for allowing us to post our episodes and relevant articles on their pages. First, to Gay Geeks After Hours. Big thanks to the moderators for saying that we could share away our content there. And their URL is facebook.com/groups/Gay Geeks After Hours. And then to The Gay Geek for pretty much the same thing. And their address is facebook.com/groups/The Gay Geek. And The Gay Geek is all one word. And as always, we give special thanks to their moderator, Jeremiah Reeves.
Thanks, Jeremiah. Other places we can be found are Spotify, TuneIn, Stitcher, Amazon Podcasts, as well as where other fine podcasts can be found. Also, check us out on Sci-Fi Radio at 3 a.m. and 3 p.m. Pacific Time on Tuesdays for a replay. And listen to their other content. They're a 24-hour, a 24-hour geeky internet radio station. Please rate us and review us on iTunes. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Wow, thank God. That should do it for this episode of TG Geeks Webcast.
Rented lips.
Be sure to check out the article for this webcast episode. We'll have several links on the page of things we talked about. And remember, you can comment on our Facebook page or our website, tggeeks.com. Or you can leave us a voicemail at 469-TG-GEEKS. That is 469-844-3357 from TG Squared Studios. I am Keith Lane. Thank you for listening. Live and be your authentic self, no matter what the world tells you. Please be kind to yourself and those around you. Stay safe, wear a mask, get vaccinated. Peace.
Hi, Bob.
Hi, Bob.